Okay, everyone, I'm so excited today because I am with Jim O'Hanlon, the director of Fackham Hall, which is in theaters Friday. How you doing today, Jim?
Hi, Steve. How's it going?
Good. I'm so excited to talk about this great film. It's so interesting. You've directed so much already, but what was that thing about this film that was most maybe scary or intimidating going into it?
Just finding the right tone, to be honest with you, was the difficult thing. I'd done period dramas. I did an adaptation of Jane Austen's Emma for the BBC with Johnny Lee Miller and Michael Gambon and Romola Gary, and I'd really enjoyed doing that, and it was great fun. And there's obviously a comic element in Emma. But I'd done kind of comedy, a lot of comedies as well. So it was just thinking, can we get the right tone here that people will engage with the story, but we can still have a joke a minute and more than a joke a minute, three jokes a minute is what we were aiming for. So it was about finding the right tone and being able to keep everyone in the right tone. That is the most difficult thing on something like this. Is like it's what the great thing about film is it's so collaborative. It depends on everybody being brilliant, not on having a brilliant director or one brilliant actor. It relies on everybody buying into the tone and not going off piste if you like. And so I wanted a tone of being very real, looking very real, sounding very real, feeling very real, but being utterly ludicrous and funny and subversive and hilarious. And so that was the challenge for me, was finding the right tone.
Yeah, no, and I think it totally works. And I love those
Right.
challenges you brought up and all those things you're thinking about. And you brought up collaborative. And I wondering if you have advice for filmmakers that are starting out and then they maybe get a project where they're working with big stars, because in this film there is a lot of big stars. So can that be scary? Is there something you've always used to like kind of get that out of your head? Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah, no, that definitely can be scary. I mean, weirdly, the scariest moment for me on this was going to give Jimmy Carr notes on comic timing when he was
Mm.
playing, because he plays the vicar, and he's obviously one of our great comedians. His whole career is based on his time, and he's brilliant at it. And there was just a little thing I wanted to change and adjust. And you go, there's a little bit of obviously there's still the voice in your head going, however experienced you are, and I'm reasonably experienced at this stage, that's going, I'm giving notes on comic timing to one of our great comedians. Uh, but you have to go, you know what? It's just a suggestion, and I think this will make it funnier. And he was totally open to it and great and said, yeah, fantastic. So my advice to young filmmakers or new filmmakers is lean on the people around you, because the lighting guy's better at lighting than you are.
Mm.
The costume person is better at costume than you are. The makeup and hair woman, yes, you've got your vision and you've got to have your vision and your ideas. But I always say, I make a speech on the first day and say, I'll take an idea from anywhere. And I say on two conditions. One is don't be offended if I don't use it. Two is don't be offended when I do use it and take all the credit, because that's what the director gets to do.
Yeah.
But my advice would be lean on the collaborative thing and don't think. Sometimes you think I have to show like I know it all and I understand everything. Use the people around you, because they come up with brilliant. A lot of brilliant ideas came from my art department, who came up with gags and signposts. We had a lot of signage in the film, and they would come up with stuff, or the writers would come up with stuff. It was a hugely collaborative effort.
Oh, no, that's great advice. And that trust you have to have, and I guess letting go a little bit of ego to let someone else who's really good at something bring it
It's
in.
all about the film. It's all about the
Yeah.
final film. And if people can give you funny stuff, don't close that down.
No, I like that. And just speaking of funny stuff, there's a lot of great physical humor in this too. So for scenes like that, getting the timing down, does that take a ton of takes?
Yeah, it does, and it took casting. We were there's one manservant figure who kind of consistently gets injured and battered, and and we were talking about actors and how many days we'd need the stunt double. And I was like, it came to a point where we're like, okay, so Richard's in for 11 days, and we need his stunt double on 10 of them, and he doesn't actually say an awful lot. So we were like, why don't we cast a stunt guy who can act, and then we don't need any stunt double. So that's what we did. We cast a magnificent stunt guy, and he was brilliant. And so he did all the falls, and he did all the kind of getting his head bashed and his face bashed, and so that helped us in terms of not having to do many takes. But he was also, we had to do, you do have to do takes, and between him and Nathan McMullen, who plays Alexander, the manservant, who's also put upon, but in a very different way. He had great physical comedy skills and he's a great physical comedian. So that took takes because you had to find certain camera angles that didn't reveal the joke straight away. And so that took a little bit of time to make sure we got that, the various things he does for Damian Lewis's character. Um, but that was part of the fun of it, you know?
Yeah, no, and it is really fun to watch, and I'm excited for people to watch those kind of scenes because you're like, how did they pull that off? So really cool. Everybody watch Fackham Hall in theaters Friday. Jim, thank you for talking with me. Hope to talk to you in the future.
Pleasure, Steve. Thanks for having me.